Disasters don't schedule appointments, and emergencies don't wait until we're ready. The time to build strength physically and mentally is before the crisis strikes or the disaster hits. Because when the moment comes, we won't necessarily rise to the occasion. We'll fall to our level of preparation. In this video, I'm going to show you that you don't need to belong to a gym or own a bunch of fancy gym equipment at home. You just need your bug out bag and other preparedness supplies. I'm going to give you some practical exercises that you can do at home, even in a small space. If you're ready, let's go. Welcome here if you're new, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. This is emergency fitness. It's training now so that you're ready for anything later. Section 1 is survival workouts for any situation. In a crisis, your body is your first tool. Forget the gym. When the grid goes down or you're off the map, survival depends on the strength that you've already built. Now, you guys have told me in the comments section that some of you are in limited spaces. So I'm making this video that takes that into consideration. So stick around, because after I demonstrate some preparedness survival workouts, I'm going to share with you a personal story that still gives me goosebumps to this day of how close it was. I was responding in an emergency event that fitness was very important. But now let's get to the action. This survival workout for any situation is what every preparedness person should be able to do, because it uses your body weight, a go bag or bug out bag, and some water jugs, which we all should have. We're gonna get very basic. There are push-ups. A standard push-up has your hands about shoulder width apart, and you press off the ground as I'm gonna roll some B-roll. There's also diamond push-ups. So that's where you touch your forefinger and your thumb together, and that concentrates the force on your triceps. There's also push-ups on uneven terrain, which you can see here. If you can't do a regular push-up, start anyway. Just go off of your knees and do some modified push-ups, which you can see right here. The next exercise is squats. Everyone loves squats, and I'm gonna show you a couple. There's the first one, which is an air squat, which uses your body weight. And then the next one, which is really cool, you get to use your go bag. And we're gonna do a few different varieties where you can use your go bag to squat and also do some thrusts and pushes up to the ceiling. This gets your whole body involved, and it's a great exercise to really get some strength. There's also the plank. The plank builds your core. It makes your entire body be able to be rigid and strong. So there's a bunch of different variations. There's one that you can go on your forearms. There's the side. There's also an elevated. You can elevate your feet on natural objects to give a little bit more focus on your shoulders. So you really don't need a perfect setup. Use your imagination. Use whatever you have. Use what's around you. That gravel path, the grass, your living room floor, your staircase, it's all your training ground. Adaptability starts here. The exciting thing about this is you don't need to go buy a bunch of fancy gear. You can use your backpack as you walk, which adds weight to your entire body and gets your legs and core stronger for real world activity. I'm gonna also show you water jug farmer's carries. In a crisis situation, the ability to carry something for distance and have that forearm strength and hand strength is really important. So that's what you're gonna see right here. Imagine being in the situation where you have to carry water from a source that is a ways away. This requires actual strength in your hands and forearms. It's stuff that a lot of us aren't used to doing and we need to work on. On top of the advantage of these exercises building real-world strength, we can use the things that we already have. So being on a limited budget shouldn't stop you from getting some of these basic strength exercises in. You can add cardio just by going for a walk or running. You can do that pretty much any place. So your bug out bag isn't just for escape. It is a daily fitness tool. Section 2 is mental toughness in a crisis. You can't panic-proof yourself, but you can prepare for pressure. Fitness isn't just physical, it's a focus. It's the ability to stay calm when everything else in life is chaos. We're gonna do some stress test training. It's called the 3-2-1 drill. It's 3 minutes of cardio, whatever cardio you wanna do. You could do burpees, you could do sprints, you could do jumping jacks, and then it's 2 minutes of fine motor skills or mental tasks. So you could be assembling gear, you could tie knots, you could do a word search or a crossword puzzle. Believe me, it's harder than you think after you've just done 3 minutes of cardio. And then you're gonna do 1 minute of eyes closed breath work or tactical breathing. In for 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're gonna breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the drill. Make it fun and use different exercises for your cardio, do different activities or puzzles to stimulate your mind. But the important thing is to stimulate that stress effect now. So when it's real, your mind already knows how to function through all the noise. Here's another mental focus challenge, and here's the drill. Do 10 burpees or 20 jumping jacks or something like that, and now read a 10-item emergency preparedness checklist. Then try to recite it from memory back. Your heart's pounding, and it's not easy, and that's the point. What this does is it builds our grit under fatigue, not after an event that's already happened and we already needed it. Section 3 is Fitness Saves Lives. This is real stories, and this is the section that I promised you a personal story that required fitness to get through. This is not theory. Let's talk about how fitness and foresight turned a potential tragedy into survival. One very hot, windy day, I got into my vehicle to attend our children's parent-teacher interviews. My wife was busy with other activities and wasn't along. The wind was clocked that day at over 80 miles an hour, and the temperature was over 102 degrees. It was so dry out, and my preparedness alarm bells were ringing in my mind as I drove the 20 miles to the country school. It was a red flag fire day, and I was afraid for everyone in the district in the event that a fire would start because it would not stop. You can see from this video how hard the wind was blowing by the way the tumbleweeds were flying across the road. Some were hitting the car with a bang. Just a few weeks before, we had a fire start almost 50 miles away, and it burned through almost 40 miles of agricultural land in a couple hours before being stopped by an army of both professional and volunteer firefighters and local farmers, ranchers, and anyone who just wanted to lend a hand. It stopped only 12 miles away from our home. The conditions this day mimicked the conditions on that day almost exactly. I got to the school and attended the first of the parent-teacher interviews. I was supposed to have 2 that day, but after the one, we began hearing that a fire had started and that the highway back home was closed by the fire. Parent-teacher interviews were canceled as everyone in these small communities shifted into firefighting gear. I knew that there was only one gravel back road that I could make it back home with the children. But with the fire moving so fast, I didn't know if we would make it. I decided to leave immediately with the children and try to make it. This is the video that my daughter took as we drove alongside the fire, trying to pass it and get around it. We did make it around safely, and I then went out to help fight the fire while my wife got things ready for a potential evacuation. So here is where the fitness part comes in. As I was on a firefighting rig, fighting the active fire line, the wind was blowing so hard that the 3-inch hose of water that I was using was actually blowing the water back on me, so I was completely drenched. Well, that wind that was blowing so hard, it shifted from the southwest to the northwest in a second. It was like that. And the fire line that we were successfully fighting, it changed direction and came straight for the truck. This took split seconds, but imagine a wall of flame coming at you and you have nowhere to go. The next second, the fire was under and around the large truck that I was on. Not wanting to be in an exploding vehicle, the driver jumped out and ran for it, yelling for me to follow. The fire line was now past us, but where do you run to when everything is on fire? Here was the answer for me that day, and here's what we did. We ran through the fire perpendicular to where the fire head direction was going, so that we got out of the burning grass and smoke. To do this required me to sprint, wearing water-soaked, heavy protective clothing while going uphill without taking a breath while running. The reason for not breathing was that I would burn myself if I took a breath. But I sprinted for the edge and almost made it without taking a breath. But then at the end of oxygen to my muscles and brain, I uncovered my face just a bit to breathe in as I ran the last yards to safety. I got burned around my mouth and nostrils for taking that one breath, but it allowed me to reach safety. But had I not been physically fit, I would not have made it. So preparedness fitness is not just about being healthier, looking better, and being stronger, which have their own benefit, but it's about possible survival. So don't ignore this. So this story continued because the fire threatened our town. So much so that I actually signed the evacuation order after returning back to town to get treatment for my burns. Our family and most of the town evacuated, but this story has a mostly happy ending. As you can see, I recovered from the burns. The town was saved by a truly miraculous little thunder shower that allowed the firefighters to get ahead of the fire, and the evacuation order was lifted. I know the shower was miraculous because my children were praying in the backyard right before they were evacuated that it would rain. And it did. It rained nowhere else that night except on the firehead. Some would call it coincidence. I call it Yahuwah's love for us. What fitness lessons can we take from all of this? Well, that speed equals possible escape from harm. And that cardio health equals doing more with less oxygen. And also, mental resilience is about never giving up. Here's a couple more example stories for you. Utah, 2019. A hiker falls down into a ravine. He's got no signal on his phone. He's got a broken ankle. He crawled for miles. Why did he make it? Years of endurance and mental training, and he didn't panic. He just focused. So what's the lessons? Core strength equals injury resilience. And creating that training discomfort like we just showed in all the different exercises equals panic resistance. One more story. This is a story that happened during a hurricane. So this man who was a weighted vest trainee, or you could use a backpack for the same kind of training, He carried his kids and his mother through rising floodwaters for hours. No car, no backup. His training with the weighted vest became their lifeline. So the lesson here is train with purpose, not for ego. And real strength is measured by who you can protect. You don't start training during a crisis. You prepare for it now, while the lights are still on, while the roads still work. Because when it all goes sideways, it's too late to wish that you were ready. I'm gonna propose a challenge for anyone watching. Let's call it the SURVIVALFIT 7-Day Challenge. I'm gonna go through it right now, but you'll also find it down in the description. So day one, let's try to get to 50 push-ups. Maybe 50 push-ups are easy for you, so go do more. But 50 push-ups, it doesn't matter how many sets or times you go down to do them, just get to 50. Let's go day two, which is a weighted pack walk. So just throw on a backpack with some weight in it or what's normally in your go bag. This one weighs 23 pounds, I just weighed it. So throw that on your back and go for a walk. Day three is the stress test, the 3-2-1 drill. Day four is stretching and rest because you need to recover. Day five is a long distance gear carry. So let's take out those water jugs and let's carry them for a distance. Practice that. Day six is the burpee or jumping jack memory challenge. And day seven is rest and reflect. What did you learn? What did you find out about your fitness level? Drop your results in the comments, and more importantly, share your reasons. Why are you training? Who are you preparing for? If you enjoyed this video or it inspired you to be more fit and prepared, hit the like button, subscribe, also share it with a friend, a family member, maybe someone that you know that needs to build one of these. By the way, I've got a video coming up that I'm gonna go through all the stuff that's in here in a very detailed way so that you can improve or build your own kit. Thanks so much for watching and for your comments. I cannot express how fun it is to read your comments and see the journeys that you guys are on. Let's prepare now and stay ready and be the difference for our families and our communities.